Across the vast African savanna, the struggle to stay alive unfolds every moment. Here, instinct draws the line between survival and defeat. In the wild, life is never freely given. It is earned by those who are stronger, faster, and constantly alert. A single lapse in attention can mean vanishing beneath the blazing sun and swirling red dust. Every sound, every movement, every shifting shadow may signal danger or opportunity. Predators calculate their moves, prey endure and adapt, and both understand there are no second chances. In this unforgiving world, survival belongs to those who can think, react, and adjust more quickly than the rest. When the chase begins and hearts race at their limits, an unavoidable question arises. Is raw power the key to survival, or does intelligence hold the true advantage? On the savannah is destiny decided by the strongest or by the most prepared. In Africa, the answers are written moment by moment under the timeless law of survival. Dawn spreads across the endless plains of the Serengeti. The first rays of sunlight scatter like golden sparks over the dry grass, gently swaying in the breeze. A herd of more than 30 zebras moves steadily toward the green pastures near the marsh, advancing with careful, measured steps. In the soft morning mist, their striped bodies reflect the light, creating a mesmerizing visual illusion, a shifting puzzle that is difficult for predators to interpret. Each zebra carries a unique stripe pattern as individual as a human fingerprint. These markings not only help them recognize one another within the herd, but also serve a crucial purpose as natural camouflage. When they move together, their individual outlines blend into a single moving mass that distorts perception and confuses those watching from a distance. Zebras are deeply social animals. Their herds are led by a dominant male accompanied by several females and their offspring. The stallion's role goes beyond reproduction. He also acts as a protector, standing against external threats. Breeding usually aligns with the rainy season when food is plentiful and water sources are reliable. After a gestation period of around 12 to 13 months, each female gives birth to a single foal. Yet in this harsh landscape, survival is never certain. From afar, hidden among the bushes, a group of lions watches in silence, 3 adult females and 3 cubs beginning to learn the skills of the hunt. All eyes are fixed on the zebras, a clear target on this dry, early autumn morning. Unlike solitary hunters, lions rely on coordination. They wait in stillness until an unseen signal triggers the attack. Dust erupts from the ground, the thunder of hooves tears through the air, and the herd collapses into chaos as its formation breaks apart. But danger does not always come from outside. Within the herd itself, threats can be just as ruthless. When a new male takes control, it is common for him to kill offspring that are not his, a behavior known as infanticide, driven by instinct to bring females back into reproductive readiness. This is not cruelty, but biology in action. In nature's relentless struggle for survival, every living being is only one small piece within the vast machinery of evolution. Under the unforgiving midday sun of the Locabango Plains, the air stands still and the silence feels complete. Yet within the shimmering heat, several shapes move swiftly and with precision, flowing together as a single force. These are African wild dogs, also known as painted wolves, recognized as the most successful hunters among Africa's large predators. They lack the raw power of lions and the explosive speed of cheetahs, but they make up for it with flawless teamwork and remarkable discipline. Their irregular coats, marked with patches of black, yellow, and white, make every individual unmistakable. Large upright ears scan the landscape for distant sounds, though their greatest strength lies not in their teeth but in cooperation and shared strategy. A pack of more than 10 animals glides along the edge of tall grass, silently closing in on a group of impalas grazing in a shallow dip in the land. The chase begins without warning and ends within moments. Their hunting style is direct and efficient, allowing them to secure a meal quickly in a landscape where hesitation can mean failure. Every action is carefully timed to minimize the risk of losing their hard-earned But today danger approaches from afar. A harsh, echoing laugh cuts through the heat like a warning bell. A clan of hyenas is drawing near. Instantly, the wild dogs freeze ears, alert bodies tense. Often mislabeled as scavengers, hyenas are in fact powerful and determined competitors. With crushing jaws and remarkable endurance, hyenas work together to challenge other predators for their kills. Though the wild dogs may outnumber them, the hyena's size and bold aggression create an undeniable threat. The air fills with sound growls, calls, and sharp vocal warnings as tension ripples across the plain. Then the alpha wild dog releases a sharp, piercing call, It is not a command to fight, but a signal to withdraw. In the wild, even the most skilled hunters must sometimes surrender their reward. Beyond strength and unity lies an uncontrollable force, chance itself. In nature, survival often depends not only on ability, but on knowing when to let go and live to hunt another day. In the deepest shadows of the dense forest, a leopard lies perfectly still atop a high branch. Its golden coat, patterned with dark rosettes, blends seamlessly with the shifting mosaic of leaves, light and shade filtering through the canopy. In the suffocating heat of the jungle, this complete stillness reflects the authority of a predator that has mastered the art of silence. The leopard is a solitary hunter relying solely on itself rather than on a group to survive. Every hunt is a solo mission carried out with patience and precision. Despite its relatively compact build, the leopard is exceptionally agile. It can leap distances of up to 6 meters and climb trees with remarkable ease, even while carrying prey heavier than its own body. Strong territorial instincts drive it to mark its domain, with visible signs and scent cues warning rivals to keep their distance. A dominant male controls a wide territory that often overlaps with the ranges of several females, increasing his chances of reproduction. Yet this solitary existence does not spare him from conflict. When these invisible boundaries are crossed, confrontations can erupt with sudden intensity. Near a dry stream bed amid scattered shrubs, two males meet within contested ground. After a fierce clash, the younger leopard is forced to yield, retreating slowly into the depths of the forest. Beneath their calm and elusive appearance, leopards live constantly on a thin line between tranquility and aggression. In the wild, even the masters of camouflage cannot avoid conflict when survival and reproduction are at stake. If you find this video engaging and informative, consider subscribing to the channel to support our work. I stepped into the vast and tranquil realm of the African buffalo, scientifically known as Synchorus kaffir, iconic inhabitants of the Serengeti wetlands and enduring symbols of strength in Africa's wild landscapes. They move steadily across waterlogged grasslands, taking full advantage of the fresh grasses and abundant water brought by the rainy season, turning these fertile plains into their preferred home. With their massive build and commanding presence, African buffalo are counted among the legendary Big Five. Adults can reach up to 1.7 meters at the shoulder and weigh between 500 and 900 kilograms. Their thick, backward curving horns, sometimes approaching a full meter in length, serve not only as formidable weapons against predators, but also as emblems of resilience and untamed spirit. Unlike the light, swift movements of Thompson's gazelles, buffalo advance with slow, deliberate steps, casting long shadows over the green wetlands like living armored vehicles of the Serengeti. Their herds are often enormous, sometimes numbering in the hundreds, forming a moving wall of muscle and determination that advances in near-perfect unison. For this species, survival is rooted in unity. When danger approaches, the herd tightens its formation, creating a defensive circle that places calves and weaker members safely at the center. Their strength does not lie solely in individual power, but in the deep social bonds that hold the group together. This collective solidarity becomes a shield capable of confronting even apex predators such as lions. During the rainy season, the herds not only graze on lush new vegetation, but also rely on flooded plains to drink and cool themselves, supporting the health of the entire group. Their presence sets a calm yet commanding rhythm across the Serengeti, a reminder that survival here is not always about speed, but about shared strength and endurance. When food and water are plentiful, African buffalo enter their most active breeding period. After gestation lasting roughly 11.5 months, females give birth to a single calf weighing between 30 and 50 kilograms. Within hours, the newborn is able to stand and quickly joins the herd, protected by the group's disciplined defensive structure. As one of the dominant herbivores of the ecosystem, the African buffalo plays a crucial role in shaping the landscape. By controlling excessive plant growth, they help renew grasslands while also serving as an essential prey species for large predators such as lions. Meanwhile, concealed within deep rivers and flooded zones, the silent giants of the Serengeti begin to stir. Hippos, hippopotamus amphibious, emerge slowly from the water. Weighing between 1,000 and 1,800 kilograms and reaching lengths of up to 3 meters, they command attention with a presence that is both mysterious and overwhelming. As the sun sinks toward the horizon, a quiet lagoon settles into an almost perfect stillness. Only distant calls of water birds and gentle ripples spreading across the surface break the silence. This peaceful scene is home to hundreds of hippos, a submerged society that appears calm yet is sharply divided by unseen boundaries. Each section of the lagoon belongs to a specific family group. At the center lies the deepest, coolest, and safest water claimed by the dominant male. Around him remain the females, their calves, and a few younger males of lower rank. Though they rest side by side, the social order is rigid. Territory is respected and intrusion is never tolerated. Throughout the day, hippos spend most of their time submerged, using the water to regulate body temperature and shield themselves from the relentless sun. When night falls, they leave the lagoon to graze on land, traveling long distances under cover of darkness. Yet beneath this routine lies constant tension. A mature male, once forced into poorer territory, has regained his strength and now seeks to reclaim what he lost. Moving cautiously, he advances toward the central zone and enters the deeper waters, an area he once dared not challenge. The dominant male senses the threat instantly and charges with startling speed for an animal that can weigh nearly 3 tons. Their massive bodies collide, sending white spray bursting into the air. Hippos do not rely on speed or claws in combat. Instead, they wield enormous jaws that can open wider than 150 degrees, armed with tusks that may grow up to half a meter long. These are weapons capable of inflicting severe damage. Before long, the challenger is forced to retreat. The clash ends and the water slowly settles back into silence. But the message is unmistakable. Territorial borders have been reinforced not through calls or displays, but through sheer force. Beneath the murky surface, hippos are far from clumsy giants. They are the undisputed rulers of the waterways, living within a harsh and invisible hierarchy, where every stretch of water represents power and every scar tells a story of dominance. Beneath the towering crowns of acacia trees, Maasai giraffes, scientifically known as Giraffa camelopardalis, tipilskirchi, stand as one of nature's most remarkable creations. With elongated legs and a neck that can rise more than 5 meters above the ground, they feed effortlessly on the freshest leaves growing high in the canopy, far beyond the reach of most other herbivores. Their tongues are another extraordinary adaptation. Stretching up to 50 centimeters and built to withstand rough textures, they skillfully strip leaves from branches lined with sharp thorns without injury. This specialized feature grants them access to a food source that remains largely untouched across the savanna. Maasai giraffes lead a mostly independent lifestyle, rarely competing directly with other species. By browsing at heights few animals can reach, they play a quiet but vital role in maintaining ecological balance, controlling tree growth and encouraging the spread of grasses that sustain many other herbivores. Their coats, marked by dark patches set against a light brown background, serve both form and function. The irregular angular patterns help them blend into scattered acacia woodlands, while also emphasizing their graceful stature. Unlike other giraffe subspecies, these distinctive markings give the Maasai giraffe a silhouette that is instantly recognizable. Keen eyesight and acute hearing allow them to detect movement from great distances, offering valuable time to retreat from danger. Removed from the turmoil and constant competition closer to the ground, giraffes continue their calm search for food above it all. Symbols of elegance, self-reliance, and quiet strength within the vast and demanding landscape of the Serengeti. Often misunderstood and unfairly labeled as mere scavengers, hyenas are in fact highly skilled predators. The majority of their diet comes from animals they hunt and bring down themselves. Through remarkable teamwork and endurance, they are capable of taking down prey much larger than their own bodies. In the Serengeti, they play a major role during the Great Migration, contributing significantly to the natural balance between predator and prey. Their most formidable tool is their jaw. Hyenas possess one of the strongest bite forces among land-dwelling carnivores, powerful enough to crush thick bones with ease, far surpassing that of many larger predators. Yet their importance extends beyond hunting alone. By consuming carcasses left behind by others, hyenas act as nature's cleanup crew, reducing the spread of disease and recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. In doing so, they help preserve the fragile equilibrium that sustains life across the African savanna. Above the open plains, another realm comes alive. Life does not thrive only at ground level, it also rules the skies. More than 500 bird species pass through the Serengeti, each playing a unique and irreplaceable role in the vast web of this ecosystem. Among them, one figure commands attention even from afar: the marabou stork. Massive, silent, and unmistakable. With a wingspan approaching 3 meters, it is the largest land bird in Africa. Its appearance matches its reputation: black and white feathers, pale legs, and a hunched posture that seems almost prehistoric. Yet its purpose is far from ominous. The marabou stork is a vital part of nature's cleanup system. It gathers in wetlands, grasslands, and near the remains of hunts, feeding on what others leave behind, and preventing decay from becoming a threat to the life that continues around it. The Serengeti is only one chapter in the vast story of the tropical savanna. Beyond it lies another remarkable yet lesser-known landscape, the Miombo woodlands of central Zambezia. Stretching across Zambia, Zimbabwe, Angola, and Mozambique, this region forms one of the largest and most diverse ecosystems in southern Africa. Towering hardwood trees such as Brachystegia and Julbernardia rise here, lifting their canopies high and creating a natural shelter beneath which thousands of species thrive. Below them, resilient grasses and hardy shrubs endure long, punishing dry seasons as well as sudden heavy rains. In the open clearings of the Miombo, a colossal presence moves quietly among the trunks: the African savanna elephant. This gentle giant travels the landscape with calm determination. It is the largest land animal on Earth, with some individuals standing over 4 meters tall and weighing more than 7 tons. Yet its true impact goes far beyond sheer size. These elephants are silent engineers of the wild. With every step, they reshape their surroundings, opening pathways, dispersing seeds, and creating conditions that allow countless other forms of life to flourish. Still, even giants face danger. Since 2021, the African savanna elephant has been officially classified as an endangered species. Despite this, signs of recovery are emerging. Conservation efforts across the Miombo region are beginning to show results. According to a WWF report published in 2023, nearly 50,000 elephants now roam freely once again across parts of Zambia and Zimbabwe, offering a powerful reminder that sustained protection can alter the course of nature's future. Leaving behind the dry woodlands and golden plains of the Miombo, the journey turns westward toward a land where forest and savanna blend seamlessly. This is the forest-savanna mosaic of West Africa, a vast landscape stretching across Guinea, Sierra Leone, Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Togo. As the dry season tightens its grip on the land, the roan antelope begins a demanding struggle to endure. By 2024, its population in this region is estimated at around 8,000 individuals. Its light brown coat and long, gently curved horns cut graceful silhouettes against a sun-scorched sky. What allows this antelope to persist is its remarkable adaptability. It feeds on a wide range of grasses and shrubs, including plants avoided by most other herbivores. This dietary flexibility gives the roan antelope a crucial advantage, enabling it to survive and persist in an environment shaped by constant change. Under the same unforgiving sun, another antelope endures, the East African oryx. Larger, stronger, and strikingly defiant, it stands like a true guardian of the desert. This remarkable animal can survive for weeks, even months, without drinking a single drop of water. Its survival strategy is finely tuned. The oryx feeds mainly at night, sharply reducing water loss through breathing and perspiration. According to a 2023 report by the United Nations Environment Program, it can even extract moisture from completely dry vegetation, turning scarcity into sustenance. Unlike many species that retreat from extreme heat, the oryx possesses an extraordinary ability to regulate its own body temperature. Yet its reputation as a symbol of endurance comes not only from adaptation, but also from courage. When confronted by predators such as lions or cheetahs, it does not always flee. Instead, it stands its ground and defends itself. Its long, straight horns, reaching nearly 85 centimeters, are formidable weapons capable of inflicting serious injury on any attacker. In the harsh reality of the savanna, the oryx does more than survive. It commands respect. The Somali region of Kiorafora is not only a haven for hoofed mammals, it is also a stronghold for some of the largest birds on Earth. Two iconic residents dominate this sun-scorched landscape, the common ostrich and the Somali ostrich, both shaping the rhythm of life across the open savanna. Standing up to 2.7 meters tall and weighing close to 155 kilograms, the ostrich is the largest living bird on the planet. According to a 2023 study by the United Nations Environment Program, these birds are able to endure several days without drinking water, an essential advantage in such an arid environment. Their bodies are finely tuned for desert survival. Every aspect of their physiology is designed to limit water loss through breathing and waste. Although they cannot fly, ostriches make up for it with remarkable speed. They can sprint at up to 64 kilometers per hour and sustain speeds of around 56 kilometers per hour over long distances. In a land where heat and scarcity dominate, their strength, endurance, and resilience make them powerful symbols of survival in one of Africa's most demanding landscapes. In the African savanna, each day ends without promises. Survival is earned second by second, guided only by instinct. Here, life is not granted by chance or compassion. It is a reward for those who know how to be strong, fast, and above all, alert. A single moment of hesitation is enough to vanish into dust and silence. When the sun sets and the savanna seems to grow calm, the struggle continues with every breath. Those who remain standing do so not by luck, but because they learn to read danger, adapt, and endure. In this wild world, life is not a right. It is the result of overcoming fear, exhaustion, and one's own fragility. And so Africa continues to write its eternal law, where only those ready to face it earn a new dawn. If this journey into the heart of survival made you reflect, give it a like and subscribe to Beast Call Nature.
Leopard.
Across every continent on Earth, wildlife moves according to the rhythm of vast migrations and silent struggles that determine which creatures will endure. These are not gentle journeys or predictable routes. They are demanding passages shaped by hunger, thirst, fatigue, and the ever-present shadow of danger. Entire herds travel for weeks, sometimes for months, guided by an ancient instinct carried through generations. They follow distant storms, fresh grasslands, and fragile water sources that can disappear without warning. Yet this story is not only about those who travel. The perspective shifts. The world is seen through the eyes of the predators, the silent watchers hidden in shadow. The hunters that judge distance with precision, read the wind with patience, and wait for the exact moment when weakness appears. For them, the movement of migration is not simply a spectacle of nature. It is a crucial chance to survive. Every river crossing can become a deadly challenge. Every open plain may transform into a hunting ground. While some animals move forward driven by the hope of survival, others depend on that same movement to avoid starvation. Their destinies become tightly connected in a balance as ancient as the wilderness itself. In the wild, migration is a constant struggle. And when these great journeys are viewed through the perspective of the hunter, a deeper truth of the natural world is revealed in nature. One life often continues only because another has come to an end. At the edge of East Africa, where the savanna stretches almost endlessly toward the horizon, the land itself seems to move. The motion is anything but quiet. A constant thunder of hooves, drifting dust, and vast herds rolling forward fills the landscape. Here, migration does not follow narrow paths. It unfolds like a living tide sweeping across the plains. This is the largest land migration of mammals on Earth. Each year, more than 1 million wildebeest travel alongside hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, covering roughly 800 to 1,000 kilometers in a nearly predictable cycle between the Serengeti Plains and the grasslands of the Masai Mara. The purpose is simple and unavoidable: fresh water and new grass. Yet the simplicity of the goal contrasts sharply with the harshness of the journey. Wildebeest do not follow a fixed road. Their route shifts with rainfall, wind patterns, and the changing condition of the land. The enormous herd behaves almost like a single living organism capable of reshaping the environment as it passes. Grasslands are grazed down. The soil becomes enriched with nutrients, and weeks later, the savanna grows back with renewed strength. The scale of the movement is so vast that it can even be seen from space. For months, the plains resemble a dark, pulsing carpet that never seems to rest. The ground trembles, the air thickens with dust, and every stride carries risk. Because this migration is not simply a march toward abundance, it is a chain of dangerous moments. Among all the challenges along the route, none is more decisive than the rivers. When the herd encounters a barrier of water, the forward surge slows and compresses. Thousands gather along the banks, pushing, hesitating, retreating, and advancing again. Fear spreads through the crowd like a wave, yet the pressure of animals behind allows no pause. Eventually, one leaps into the river, and within seconds, the rest follow. What was once a calm channel becomes a chaotic surge. Bodies collide, the current sweeps away the weaker animals, and many lose their footing within the first few meters. The crossing has no clear order. It becomes a powerful overflow of motion and confusion, and within that disorder, another ancient presence reveals itself. Beneath the dark surface of these African rivers live predators that do not need to chase the herds across the plains. They simply wait. Nile crocodiles are among the oldest hunters still ruling the planet. With slow metabolisms, remarkable patience, and a keen ability to read their surroundings, they have long learned that the wildebeest migration is a recurring event, predictable, concentrated, and unavoidable. For much of the year, the river offers few opportunities, but when the crossing season begins, the balance shifts dramatically. Within days, scarcity turns into sudden abundance. A crocodile does not pursue the fastest animal or challenge the strongest. Instead, it takes advantage of confusion, crowded water, and a single moment of miscalculation. The murky river limits vision, the force of the herd disrupts balance, and one slip can determine the fate of an animal weighing more than 200 kilograms. Yet the migration never stops. For every individual that falls, many others reach the opposite bank. The strategy is not to remove danger, but to spread the risk. The power of the migration lies in its sheer numbers, its persistence, and its unbroken momentum. Those that fail to cross do not disappear without purpose. Their bodies become food for crocodiles, fish, and birds, and they also nourish the river itself. Minerals and organic matter drift downstream for many kilometers, feeding life far beyond the original herd. As long as rains continue to renew the grass and rivers continue to interrupt the path, this cycle will repeat year after year, transforming movement into survival, and every crossing into an opportunity for those who know how to wait. When the great river crossings of the wildebeest finally subside, the landscape does not fall silent at once. The rivers gradually return to their calm flow. The dust settles over the plains, and the herd continues its long journey. Yet the passage leaves behind a scattered trace across the savanna, still bodies of animals that failed to overcome the current, collapsed from exhaustion, or simply lacked the strength to keep moving. At that moment, another kind of movement begins. Long before any scent can be detected from the ground, small dark shapes appear high in the sky. At first they seem insignificant, barely visible against the vast blue, but within minutes their numbers grow, circling slowly and drawing tighter loops above the plains. To a distant observer, it may look like coincidence. For vultures, it is precise information. These birds are specialists at locating death across enormous distances. Some species can detect a carcass from many kilometers away thanks to remarkably sharp eyesight and an ability to read the behavior of other birds already in flight. The descent of a single vulture often triggers a chain reaction, guiding dozens more toward the same place. During the Great Migrations, these gatherings can become extraordinary in scale. Around the body of a single wildebeest or antelope, dozens. Sometimes hundreds of vultures may assemble, forming a restless mass that constantly shifts and reorganizes. What appears chaotic is actually governed by a clear hierarchy. Larger species claim access first, while smaller ones wait at the edges, ready to slip into any opening that appears. The transformation happens with astonishing speed. A carcass that might normally take days to decay can be reduced to clean bones in less than half an hour. Muscles, organs, and soft tissue vanish almost entirely. Nothing is wasted, yet their role extends far beyond feeding. Vultures serve as the sanitation system of the savanna. By rapidly removing large amounts of decaying organic matter, they help prevent the spread of harmful bacteria, reduce potential sources of infection, and limit diseases that could threaten wildlife and even nearby human communities. Research in several regions has shown that when vulture populations decline sharply, diseases linked to unconsumed animal remains increase noticeably. At the same time, opportunistic scavengers, far less efficient at nature's cleanup, often expand in number. During the migrations, vultures do not follow the herds themselves. Instead, they follow the consequences. Where massive herds move, mistakes happen. Where mistakes occur, death appears, and where death gathers, vultures arrive. Their presence also sends signals across the landscape. Ground predators learn to scan the sky, and human herders do the same. A spiral of circling birds overhead often means that something has ended below. But within the logic of the natural world, it is not truly an ending. It is a transformation. Every consumed body returns nutrients to the soil. Calcium from bones, microscopic remnants, and fluids that seep into the ground all enrich the earth. Within weeks, the place where an animal fell may become a patch of greener, thicker vegetation, a future feeding ground for the next wave of travelers. In this way, vultures complete a cycle that began months earlier, when the first rains awakened the grasslands. They do not chase prey or defend vast territories. Instead, they wait patiently for the inevitable cost of migration and transform that ending into the beginning of new life. In Africa, great migrations unfold under scorching heat, swirling dust, and murky rivers. At the opposite end of the planet, however, movement is governed by a completely different force: cold. Across the vast Arctic and subarctic regions where the landscape appears frozen in time for much of the year, life also travels great distances. But here, the motion is not loud or chaotic. It is quiet, steady, and relentless. Caribou undertake some of the longest land migrations on Earth, with annual routes that can exceed 5,000 kilometers. Their journey crosses open tundra, boreal forests, frozen rivers, and windswept plains. Often there are no clear trails or landmarks to follow. Temperatures can plunge far below -40 degrees, turning the environment itself into a constant challenge. The drive behind this movement is not only the search for food, but the need to align their life cycle with an ecosystem that can change dramatically within a matter of weeks. During the brief Arctic summer, the herds move northward toward areas where vegetation bursts into growth under the nearly endless daylight. Insects may swarm in great numbers, but they pose a lesser threat than the scarcity of food elsewhere. It is here that calves are born, with most arrivals occurring within a remarkably short window of time. This synchronization is no accident. By giving birth almost simultaneously, the herd spreads the risk. Predators are present, but when thousands of calves enter the world at once, it becomes impossible to pursue them all. As winter begins to reclaim the land, the direction of travel reverses. The herds gradually head south in search of places where strong winds sweep the snow aside, revealing the lichens hidden beneath the frozen surface. These modest organisms, which offer little nutrition for most plant-eating animals, form the foundation of the caribou's winter diet and remain one of the few reliable resources during months of near-continuous darkness. Physically, the caribou is remarkably suited to life on the move. Its broad hooves function like natural snowshoes, spreading weight across soft snow in winter. During the warmer months, those same hooves harden, allowing easier travel over rocky ground. A coat made of hollow hairs traps heat efficiently, and the animal's metabolism can slow to conserve energy when food becomes scarce. Even with these advantages, the migration demands a heavy toll. Sudden blizzards, early thaws, rivers breaking open ahead of schedule, or thick ice. Sealing food beneath the ground can transform a familiar route into a harsh test of endurance. In some years, the most serious losses are not caused by hunters, but by the climate itself. Predators, when they appear, usually remain along the edges of the herd, watching for the injured, the young, or those that fall behind. Yet unlike many other migrations, the greatest threat here does not come with teeth or claws. It arrives from the sky, carried on the wind and measured in dropping temperature. The migration of the caribou is not defined by dramatic chases or constant attacks. Instead, it is a prolonged trial of resilience. It exists because the Arctic does not allow stillness. To remain in one place is to risk disappearing. Moving forward despite cold storms and uncertainty is the only path that offers a chance to survive. Along the edges of the Arctic, where the ocean presses against shifting sheets of sea ice, migration takes on a very different form. It does not unfold across endless routes or sweep through vast plains. Instead, movement becomes compressed and concentrated. Walruses travel seasonally with the advance and retreat of the sea ice, which serves as a floating platform where they can rest between long feeding sessions on the ocean floor. There they spend hours stirring the sediment with their whiskered snouts, searching for clams and other shellfish hidden in the mud. When the ice retreats too far or disappears entirely, these animals are forced to find alternatives. That is when massive gatherings begin along the coastline. In certain parts of the Arctic, tens of thousands of walruses crowd onto narrow beaches or rocky shores. Space becomes scarce, yet the need for rest is shared by all. Bodies weighing more than a ton press tightly together, forming immense living walls of thick skin-curved tusks and heavy layers of insulating fat. From a distance, such gatherings might appear peaceful, almost like a sanctuary. In reality, they represent a delicate balance. Walruses are highly social animals, and staying close together helps conserve warmth while offering a sense of safety. But that closeness also creates risk. A sudden movement can trigger a chain reaction of shoving bodies, and under such immense weight, the pressure can become overwhelming. Each shift within this crowd leaves visible marks on the shoreline. Sand becomes mixed with traces of dried blood, deep grooves carved by tusks and scars from earlier conflicts. The soundscape never truly fades. Deep grunts, the collision of heavy bodies, slow breathing, and the constant scraping of giants trying to share an area far too small. This migration is not measured by the distance traveled, but by the intensity of the gathering. Here, the challenge is not reaching the next destination, but simply finding a place to stop without being crushed by the mass around them. Where such a concentration of prey exists, watchful eyes are never far away. Polar bears patrol these gatherings with quiet persistence. Unlike their usual hunts for seals on the sea ice, they rely less on stealth here. Instead, they walk, observe, and study the crowd. Among thousands of similar shapes, their focus settles on subtle signs: a calf drifting away from the group, an exhausted individual, or a walrus poorly positioned near the edge. Often, the bear does not need to create chaos. The environment provides it. A sudden noise, an awkward shift in the herd, or a ripple of panic moving through the tightly packed mass can briefly open space. In those fleeting moments, the predator advances, sometimes threading through narrow gaps between enormous bodies that are themselves powerful and potentially dangerous. Even so, most walruses survive these encounters. The strength of the species lies not in speed or individual aggression, but in sheer numbers. Healthy adults form a nearly impenetrable barrier. Their long tusks, tools for hauling themselves onto ice, and also formidable defensive weapons, create a zone of caution that even a predator as powerful as a polar bear must approach carefully. Once again, the migratory phenomenon does not collapse under the pressure of predators. Instead, it adapts. The crowd absorbs its losses and continues demonstrating that in these extreme environments, survival depends not only on individual strength, but on the collective ability to endure and reorganize. At the far reaches of the Southern Ocean, where relentless winds sweep across frozen waters and the cold shows little mercy, migration reveals yet another remarkable form. Here, the movement of life is not defined by long marches across plains or dramatic river crossings. Instead, it gathers in overwhelming numbers. On certain sub-Antarctic islands, entire shorelines cease to look like empty landscapes and begin to resemble living, breathing ecosystems. The bright white of snow disappears beneath vast layers of black, silver, and golden feathers. The ground becomes hidden beneath thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of king penguins packed together in dense colonies. From a distance, the shoreline seems to pulse with life. These gatherings are far more than temporary assemblies. They represent the center of a demanding and carefully timed migratory cycle that unfolds slowly over many months. Unlike most birds, the king penguin does not complete its breeding cycle within a single season. Instead, reproduction may stretch beyond an entire year. This unusual rhythm forces adults to travel repeatedly between the open ocean and the breeding colony. While one parent remains on land, carefully balancing the egg on its feet, beneath a protective fold of skin, the other heads out to sea, sometimes traveling hundreds of kilometers in search of food. These constant journeys create invisible highways through the surrounding ocean. Beneath the surface, king penguins dive to remarkable depths, often reaching more than 300 meters, where sunlight fades into darkness. Their bodies are built for such extreme conditions. Dense bones help reduce buoyancy. Their wings function as powerful flippers, and their blood carries oxygen with exceptional efficiency. Even their heart rate can slow during deep dives, allowing them to remain underwater for extended periods. Yet every trip into the ocean carries danger. When an adult returns, it brings enough nourishment to sustain its chick for several days. But before reaching the relative safety of the colony, it must cross the most exposed stretch of the journey, the narrow and uncertain boundary where ocean ice and land meet. In this shifting zone, protection disappears, and a single miscalculation can change the outcome of the entire voyage. Few natural events are as extraordinary as the migratory journey of salmon. Their story does not begin solely in rivers nor end entirely in the ocean. It begins with memory, a chemical imprint formed during the earliest stage of life when a tiny larva drifts through calm, freshwater streams. As the fish matures, this imprint becomes an internal guide, an invisible compass that leads it across vast stretches of open ocean and eventually directs it back with remarkable precision to the very river where it first began life. Some species travel more than 6,000 kilometers through the sea before starting their return. During these years in the ocean, salmon grow larger, stronger, and accumulate the energy reserves they will later depend on. Yet the most demanding challenge still lies ahead. When the instinct to reproduce becomes impossible to ignore, they leave the salt water behind and enter one of the most difficult migrations in the animal kingdom. Even the transition from saltwater to freshwater places enormous strain on the body. Within days, their internal systems must completely readjust. Organs adapt, their skin darkens, jaws reshape, and muscles reorganize, all while they push upstream against currents seemingly designed to block their passage. From that moment onward, they stop feeding. Every kilometer of progress consumes energy stored during years at sea. Each leap over waterfalls, each collision with rocks, and every effort to navigate obstacles drains reserves that will never be replenished. In many rivers, more than 70% of the fish never reach the spawning grounds. Yet the collective movement continues without pause. The migration rarely happens in isolation. Thousands, sometimes millions of salmon move upstream together through narrow channels, transforming the river into a restless living current. the water churns with motion, the flow becomes turbulent, and the riverbed vanishes beneath the density of bodies. This sudden concentration of life reshapes the environment itself. Rivers once poor in nutrients become centers of fertility. Nitrogen and phosphorus carried from the ocean nourish algae, insects, birds, and even the forests growing along the banks. The influence can extend far beyond the water's edge. Trees growing at considerable distances from the river may reach greater heights thanks to nutrients released as fish decompose along the ecosystem. Scientists have found chemical traces of this ocean-derived nourishment in soil many years after the migration has passed. Yet wherever life gathers in such abundance, it inevitably draws attention from opportunistic hunters. In certain stretches of the river, the terrain naturally narrows, shallow passages, tight rapids, and unavoidable waterfalls where the effort of the salmon becomes predictable. It is in these places that another strategy appears, that of the brown bear. Unlike predators that rely on long chases or carefully planned ambushes, bears often take advantage of something far simpler: reliable abundance. Over thousands of years, entire bear populations have synchronized their movements with the seasonal arrival of salmon. For them, this event is not occasional. It is a crucial part of their yearly survival. During the peak of the salmon run, a single bear may consume dozens of kilograms of fish in one day. This rich supply of protein and fat fuels daily activity and, more importantly, allows the bear to build the energy reserves needed to endure the long winter when hibernation slows its metabolism dramatically. Their behavior along the rivers is far from random. Bears prefer shallow water, natural waterfalls, and slower stretches where salmon must repeatedly leap upstream. By the time the fish reach these points, many are exhausted. Their reactions slowed after a relentless struggle against the current. With measured movements, the bear takes advantage of this moment, capturing fish that have nearly spent the energy accumulated during their entire life at sea. This relationship goes far beyond a simple interaction between predator and prey. It forms an essential link within the ecosystem. After feeding, bears often carry portions of their catch into nearby forests, leaving scattered remains across the ground. These fragments gradually become natural fertilizer, enriching plants, insects, and microorganisms far from the river itself. Scientific studies have even discovered traces of ocean-derived nutrients within the tissues of centuries-old trees growing deep in the forest. Evidence of generations of bears transporting marine energy onto land. In this way, the bear becomes more than a hunter. It acts as a powerful distributor of life's resources, carrying the richness of the ocean into the heart of the terrestrial world. When the paths of migration fade into the distance and the echoes of pursuit disappear into silence, one truth remains clear: wildlife exists in a balance sustained by struggle. Every movement of the herd and every careful calculation of a predator adds another chapter to an ancient story, one in which survival demands endurance, patience, and at times sacrifice. Seen through the perspective of the hunter, migration becomes more than simple movement across landscapes. It becomes destiny. For some animals, the journey offers hope and renewal. For others, it represents the single opportunity to remain alive. In this way, predator and prey are bound together by the same invisible thread that keeps the natural world in motion. Across the planet's most demanding environments, from scorching plains to rushing rivers and frozen mountains, the same truth persists. No victory lasts forever, and no loss marks the true end as long as life continues to move forward. In the wild, struggle is not a choice. It is simply the way life continues to exist. If this journey into the heart of the wild inspired you, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Join us on Beast Call Nature, where every heartbeat, every watchful gaze, and every encounter reveals another layer of the natural world.